Bleach Fandom Community Podcast brought to you by Grimmjow's anti-door campaign. Why use doors when you can just blast a hole in the wall? Hi everybody, my name is Del, and today I'm joined by Nomi. Oh geez, Discord is... Hang on, what?
Oh, did that not work?
No, I think it did. For some reason, it just needs, I don't know, it needs constant, whatever. We're here. We're good. We got it.
It just doesn't like me saying hi. That's
It really
what
doesn't. It's Discord's anti-Nomi saying hi campaign.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Oh, I'm not offended, honest. Wipe away a tear.
Alright. Yeah, wow. Okay, so we're going to cover 4 episodes today. It makes sense because they definitely all go together. They flow, we were just talking about this off the record a little bit, but they flow super seamlessly, one into the other. So, yeah. In theory, it's a tall order, but in practice, it might actually be pretty reasonable. I guess we'll see. But... because we have 4 whole episodes to cover, I think we should just dive right in. So
yeah, I think it's a good
plan. Let's hit those summaries. Yeah, totally.
Alrighty, so we start off in episode 161, The Cruel Arrancar, Ulquiorra's Provocation. The Renji and Szayelaporro fight rages on, with me not casually waiting for the day in which an episode summary doesn't start off with a fight. Anyway, Szayelaporro announces that he is Ulquiorra Granz's brother, the one Renji fought when Grimmjow invaded the world of the living, and thus Szayelaporro knows all of Renji's moves thanks to the spy bugs implanted in the other Arrancar's body collecting data. As the scene shifts back to reminders of the end of the Rukia and Aranero fight, we see the reactions of the other Espadas to the reveal of Aranero's death, giving us some all-important names like Halibal, Stark, and Lynette. But more on that later. Back with Renji and Szayelaporro, it's Tweedledee and Tweedledum, 2 of Szayelaporro's facciones, who tell the fighting duo what has happened, and Szayelaporro takes great delight in telling Renji that Rukia also died in the fight, causing Renji to lash out at him. Meanwhile, Ichigo notices Rukia's diminishing spiritual pressure, impressive for someone who struggles to sense anything at all, and it seems Ulquiorra shares my thoughts, for he too remarks on it when he appears in Ichigo's path. Ichigo tries to ignore him, wanting to go to save Rukia, but Ulquiorra gives him no choice but to release his Bankai and fight back.
Which brings us to episode 162, Szayelaporro laughs, the net-trapping Renji is complete. So Ichigo is in Bankai mode, and we learn he is also in Hollow Mask mode, and so he's thinking to himself, will this Getsuga Tensho be enough to defeat Ulquiorra? Yeah, so the answer is, no, not quite. Ulquiorra releases this enormous Sero, and so Ichigo scoops up a panicked Nell and does his darndest to sprint away from his cold-eyed adversary, but to no avail. Ulquiorra catches up and punts Ichigo across the sky and through a wall, and... even though he's not doing so hot, Ichigo is resolved to defeat Ulquiorra, who Ichigo is sure must be the strongest Espada. Right? Right? Okay, well, thing is, joke's on him, because in an excessively dramatic tattoo reveal, Ulquiorra makes it clear that he is only the 4th Espada, and proceeds to punch Ichigo through the chest before instructing Ichigo to either leave or die. Meanwhile, Orihime is not having a great time either. 2 jealous Arrancars, Loly and Menoly, come into her room, which, according to them, is, like, really nice, and straight up dish Orihime some pretty rough verbal and physical abuse. And meanwhile, Renji is still tussling with the astute and observant Szayelaporro Granz, who reveals a whole legion of homemade fracciones. Szayel leaves Renji to his minions, declaring that it's not worth it for Szayel to fight Renji himself, though he does lament the possibility of not being able to collect Renji's body in its complete form, when, from out of an awfully convenient hole in the wall, an arrow emerges, piercing Szayel's hot body, and Uryuu reveals himself ready to step up and help his ally.
Which leads us into episode 163, Shinigami and Quincy, the Battle of Madness, which actually starts off with Orihime being harassed by the two female Arrancar Del told us about last episode. Menoly and Loly continue to taunt Orihime and attack her before Grimmjow, with no respect for the door that's literally right beside him, blasts a hole in the wall, stopping the deleted scenes of Mean Girls. Here he destroys the two Arrancars and takes Orihime away, saying he needs something from her. Ominous? Quite possibly. But this is Grimmjow. He's just a softie, right? Right? Maybe. Back with Renji and Ishida, his knight in white armor, the two team up with Ishida telling Renji that he has a plan.
Oh boy, oh wow. Yeah, I guess that brings us to episode 164, which aptly is called Ishida's Strategy, the 20-second offense and defense, which is, by the way, that's 20-second, like 20 seconds long, not like 22, just for the interest of clarity. So, in this episode, as we open, Szayel is continuing to one-up his adversaries, causing Uryuu's arrows and bow to disintegrate in his hands. Things are not looking good for Uryuu and Renji. Or are they? Because Uryuu does have a plan. He just needs Renji to buy him a little time. And so, Renji starts going ham on Szayel with his Shikai. Again, Zabimaru is like everywhere. And soon enough, Renji and Szayel are wrapped up tight together, bringing them close enough for Renji to, can you believe, use Kido, and at close range. But even this isn't the main event, because by this time, Uryuu has got all his ducks, or all of his Seele Schneider, as it were, in a row. He initiates a massive explosion that damages Szayel brutally, and just when he and Renji think that they're free of the mad monstrosity that is Szayelaporro Granz, Szayel reemerges from the ashes, eats one of his fracciones, recovers miraculously, and bids Uryuu and Renji a fond little farewell so that he can change his clothes. And elsewhere, Ichigo is lying on the ground in the wake of Ulquiorra's ruthless attack, ostensibly dead, or very close to it. As Nell sobs over his unmoving body, Grimmjow, of all people, emerges with a chained-up Orihime in tow. He instructs Orihime to heal Ichigo, which she does, despite noticing the strange spiritual pressure that Ulquiorra has left swirling around Ichigo's injuries. Grimmjow explains that he's making Orihime heal Ichigo so that he can settle things with Ichigo, because, Grimmjow says, Ulquiorra has defeated someone else's prey. Grimmjow's prey. But, speak of the emo Prince of Darkness, and he shall appear. Ulquiorra Sunitos his way right behind Grimmjow, and, we'll see what he does next time, I guess. Whoo!
There was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. It's like, well, it's funny to me because I love that we spent 4 episodes, something like that, on just Rukia versus Arrancars, and then we spend 4 episodes with, like, 2 major fights and 3 distinct sequences of events, if you count, like, Orihime's situation, Renji and Uryuu versus Szayel-ish, and Ichigo and Ulquiorra, this whole confrontation moment. Like, all of these things, like, they're gonna probably sync up together at some point, but the fact that all of this has so many moving parts and pieces, and it's like, oh yeah, we can do this in 4 episodes. Like, they moved super fast. I was constantly entertained, but in the wake of something that just moved so slowly, structurally.
I know. It's like they finally learned how to shunpo.
Yeah, or Sunito or Hiranjaku, depending on what you practice, but yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So now they've done that, what we also learned in these episodes is that no one knows how to use a door.
Oh my god. We got
Ishida, we got Grimmjow, we got Ulquiorra, like...
Literally the fact that that's, like, Grimmjow, the amount of wall between the hole Grimmjow punches in the wall and the door is less wide than the door. Like, there's no space between this hole in the wall and the door.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. But if we want to, like, offer a potentially serious thought about this, it's like, what does that say about Grimmjow as a person? Like, we've actually learned something about, I mean, so Ishida's, like, using this hole in the wall probably because I don't know, high ground, good vantage point, he's a distance fighter, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't mean to dismiss that, but I think we don't learn as much about Uryuu from that choice, necessarily.
No.
But, like, that says so much about the kind of person that Grimmjow is. There is something about his fundamental nature that makes him go, there's a door right here, fuck it, I'm gonna punch a wall. Like,
or either that, he didn't want that thing to happen. You know, when you walk through a doorway and you forget what you walked into the room for? He didn't want that to happen because he was on a mission, so he just bypassed the door.
Yeah, like, Orihime's right there and he's like, oh my god, what did I come in here for? Yeah. Grimmjow, your glasses are on your head. Got
distracted by something sparkly.
Yeah, exactly. Let me use.
Right then, yeah, so should we move on to the manga anime differences then?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's one that I know is coming that I'm like... Anyway, I'm so mad at some of the censorship.
Yes.
I know. I just whatever. We'll get there when we get there. It's not even this episode.
No.
Sorry. Yes, proceed.
Okay. So, in the anime, we actually see the Arrancar Renji fight a little bit, whereas the manga just cuts straight to Szayelaporro hearing of Arrancar's death. So they've just got fight filler. Ishida and Pesce in that episode, you guessed it, filler.
That's shocking, yep.
Yep. And then when we first meet Lilynette and Stark, we've got the really random worded innuendo of where Lilynette is tickling Stark to wake him up.
Yeah.
The manga just literally says, hey, stop that. Fan translation is a little bit different. The fan translation says,
wouldn't it?
Quit it, you bastard, not my balls.
Oh, well, that's... Artistic liberties were taken, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, literally the manga is just, hey, stop that. Whereas the anime is like, this is where you're tickling her. Yeah.
Okay, well, she's a child, so that's great.
Yeah.
Actively hate that.
But that was pretty much it. It was just extra bits. To be fair, I'm like nitpicking for a lot of these anime and manga differences. They're kind of loyal, and we've definitely caught back on track with regards to the chapters being used.
Oh, that's good to hear.
We're not jumping around as much. Like, this episode was 265, bang the bore, and the last 7 pages, or pages 10 to 17, really. 268, you are forbidden to die, but that was just pretty much using the end pages as a recap, because that was the Arrancar Rukia fight.
Ah, right, yes.
So the anime used those to remind us that Arrancar was dead. Then we had 269, the end is near, and 2/3 of 270, which is warning, with the war in capital letters, and then ning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sort of wonder, I know that we tend to go episode by episode when we do this podcast, but because this is like a fight that extends through basically 4 episodes, another fight and like ramifications of that fight that extend through basically 4 episodes, and then Orihime's kind of constant journey throughout, I almost wonder whether this time it would be like more useful to us to kind of talk about, like, not necessarily break it up by fight, but I almost wonder whether, like, structurally it makes less sense to split it up by episode for this particular podcast episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, if we're continuing, if we've got points to talk about Zyle and the Renji fight, if that's
I don't
want to
feel like we need to stop that because it's right, exactly. Yeah. Okay, great. So let's call it freeform. How about we finish all of the anime and manga differences, and then we can really get into the nitty gritty of some of these fights and these sequences of events.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, sick tight. Yes. Okay. Great.
So, episode 162 finishes chapter 270, warning. It's got 271, if you rise from the ashes, and 272, don't kill my Volupture.
Ooh.
The anime ruined a really sweet moment between Ichigo and Nell with Nell's snot, as it usually does.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah. Fight padding with Zyle. The conversation between Menoly, Loly, and Hime is anime only.
Oh, wait, really?
Because they had and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in a little bit with this.
Sure.
Because the way the anime decided to do this was really random. The manga actually just cuts, you see Menoly and Loly at the door saying, "Orihime, come and play," and it's like really creepy in the shadows. And then the next time we see them, they're beating her up.
Ooh.
And Menoly is a lot more reluctant in the manga. She's like the lookout, and she's constantly saying, "Okay, I think you should stop now. What if we're seen? What if we're heard?" It's Loly who's really instigating it, whereas in the anime, they're both kind of attacking her and edging her on.
I do feel like Loly was definitely more aggressive. Wait, did I say the right person? I confused.
Yeah, Loly's the one.
I said Loly. Yeah, okay, with the pigtails. Yeah.
Not necessarily, because she is pretty aggressive in the manga. Like all Orihime has to do is just look at her, and Loly just fights back. Whereas in the anime, Orihime says stuff that causes her to lash out.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. I see. Oh, well, anyway, we'll get there when we get there, but that's curious.
Yeah. The flashbacks in that episode were anime only. And in the anime, when Ishida's standing at the top of standing in his hole in the wall, looking down.
Oh boy. Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's had a shower and powdered his nose before showing up, because he looks pristine.
Oh, you know what? Fucking good for him.
Whereas in the manga, he's all battered up and bruised from his fight with Tsuruchi, so.
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh, that's so funny.
He did it. He did a Zyle. He went and changed. They have something in common.
But based on what we know about Uryuu, like, he brought a spare change of clothes with him to the Seirete. Like, that is a thing he did. That is in character for him. So that parallel is not uninteresting, I think.
No. But that was it for that episode.
Oh, okay.
Moving into 163, we've got finishing the last 4 pages of Don't Kill My Volupture, which is 272. 273, Dog Eat Dog, and 274, The Monster.
Ooh. So
this is where we've got the big difference between Menoly, Loly, and Orihime.
Okay.
In the anime, Orihime starts to fight back and say no, which causes Loly to backhand her. Whereas in the anime, in the manga, literally the only fights we've seen are Loly throwing Orihime across the room, grabbing her by the hair, and holding her up and saying, "Ha, look at you. You really think a human could beat an Arrancar?" And Orihime just gives her this pity look, as if to say, like, "I'm really sorry for you. Why are you doing this to me?" Which really causes Loly to go, "You little, don't look at me like that."
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Menoly then stops in and says, "Hey, keep it down."
Oof.
Loly tells her to shut up. And then Lolly's like, "Oh, I know, I'll yank out her fingernails."
Whoa! That's brutal.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And Menoly's like, "Loly, don't." And that's when Grimmjow turns up.
Whoa. I also, okay, did they in the anime, which is such a bizarre change to make, granted I only watched the episodes once, but it looked to me like Loly sort of reached for Orihime's hair and then like whipped her across the room, having held her by the hair in the anime. Is that what seems to have happened?
That's what it looked like in the anime, yeah. In the manga, you don't really get that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just thought it was a really strange choice. I was also like, is there, I don't know, the angles kind of didn't make sense. I was like, I don't know that you'd have enough leverage to actually get her over there if that's how you're doing that, but
yeah.
Go off, I guess.
Yeah, in the manga, Loly has got her by the hair, but the only thing she does is when she says, don't look at me like that, she just punches her. Here, I'm actually gonna...
Like, actually makes more sense.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna drop the panel in the chat for you.
Oh, sure thing, yeah. Okay.
There we go. Okay. That's pretty much... That's the whole fight.
Okay.
That 2 pages.
Oh, poor Orihime. She looks so beat up and so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Damn, girl.
So yeah, as you can see, Loly is definitely a little bit more aggressive with the whole threatening to yank out her fingernails, and
for sure.
Menoly's very kind of wary and say, we don't want to get caught, we're not supposed to be in here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What else we got? Then we've got Grimmjow coming in. Grimmjow actually rips off Loly's leg in the manga.
Oh! Look at him go! Oh my god!
He literally stands on it and pulls her leg off. So when we get the scene of Orihime healing them both, Orihime, you actually see the leg grow back. You see her with only one leg, whereas in the anime she's got both of her legs.
Wait, I love that, especially if healing them was always gonna be what happened, because Grimmjow is like, fuck you, I know you can regrow limbs, let's go. Like, that's awesome.
Yep. And then also with the anime, when Orihime's healing back Menoly, you just see this shadow and the pieces going in. Whereas in the manga, she's actually fully drawn. You actually can tell who it is, and you can see her shocked and horrid face of whatever perpetual state she was in when she died.
That is so much better. I want to see her face. Like, the idea of her waking up and being like, oh my god, it's you. Like, you're healing me. Like, what? Like, that's delicious. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Small minor difference is that Ishida stabbed Zyle in the abdomen in the anime, where it was through the collarbone in the manga.
Oh, that's... my default, I was like, that's so hot. Like, why am I...
It was doing some kind of should have aimed for the head Thanos stuff. I don't know.
I love that.
Yeah.
The collarbone, that's so specific.
It is.
Oh, Ishida was like, look at this vain hot boy. I'm gonna, oh man.
There you go, I even posted it so you could see your boy's face when he's just staring at the...
Yeah, I know this panel. This is what it is. It's like, if it's a character that I like, I know their panels really well, and everybody else's, which is why I know about the censorship later, because, like, fuck me.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. I forgot he was still wearing clothes at this point, lol. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. And then the only other difference was the Pesce intervention, which was anime only.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, they like to remind us that these two characters exist.
Wait, so I just want to confirm, so that whole bit when all of the Fractiones were talking about, like, being afraid of cockroaches and stuff, was that also anime only?
Cockroaches, yes. Okay. Basically, in the manga, Pesce just, he slides down the wall. He can't see past the Arrancars because he wants to watch the fight, but he sees Don Chaka's foot sticking out.
Yeah.
So then he just sneaks over, shuffle. And then it's Don Chaka saying, you came to save me, and that noise is what causes the Fractiones to turn around. So it's Dondo Chaka who alerts them, not Pesce.
Okay. Is there anything in the manga at all about the Fractiones saying that they are, like, scared or uncomfortable or anything like that? Because my initial thought was, like, oh, what a cool... I don't want to say humanizing, because the word human is, like, also not the right word for most of the characters in this manga anyway, but, like, it gives them more dimension, I suppose, if it's canon.
Yeah.
If it's not canon, then I suppose I don't have anything to say about it, because then it's just extra. They were trying to be funny, but...
No, they don't say anything.
All right. Well, never mind.
Pesce
not gonna read into that. I was like, oh, hollows are people too, but I guess we're not going there today, so sure, fine, whatever.
Pesce actually comments on it in the manga. He says, actually, nobody even realizes I'm here. It makes me a little sad. If they notice me just a little, it'd be nice.
I can't know what you wish for, bro. Oh, man. Oh, gosh. Okay.
So, yeah. Okay, and then going on to episode 164.
Ah, yes.
We have manga chapters 275, The United Front 2, Red and White. And fun fact, United Front 1 was back in chapter 174, End of Hypnosis 6, The United Front, which was Renji and Ichigo fighting Aizen.
Oh, cool. Love that. Very cool.
So yeah, these United Fronts are who Renji is teaming up with.
Yeah. Oh, neat.
We have 276 Blocking Beast and 277 Corrosion of Conformity.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Corrosion of Conformity is also the name of a metal band. Fun fact. Anyway.
Here we have the extended Pesce sequence. Mainly the hollows. This is the hollows that they don't like cockroaches. The anime actually has Renji muttering the Kido because you hear him saying Inferno and Pandemonia. Yep. Whereas in the manga it's just wavy lines, and some fan translations even have just this asterisk and it's like incoherent rambling.
Oh, well, I don't hate that actually.
So yeah, it's so you can't really tell what it is.
Sure.
We've got Anime Ishida says that he trusts Renji.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really sweet.
Yes.
Whereas the manga, it's dependable backup.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's much and much this, but yeah.
Yeah.
He trusts and... Szayelaporro actually eats his Fractione.
I know! I want it so much!
Whereas...
That's honestly one of the pieces of censorship I'm maddest about. I think he's so brutal, and then whatever. He's brutal anyway, honestly, but
yeah,
let him be weird.
Yeah, because of course in the anime you got Lumina who just gets turned into a ball of spiritual pressure, whereas manga you actually get to see him bite his head off pretty much, and you got the blood pouring out from his teeth, and he's got really big teeth.
Yeah, I suppose he does.
It's literally like, think Shinji but bigger.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm imagining Shinji just like eating a T-bone steak with his hands, like no fork and knife, just like taking a bite. I feel like that's something he would do.
Yes, definitely.
Anyway.
And then... No, that is... I've just put that in the wrong section of my notes. That should be down in the discussion points section and not the manga anime difference. Okay, then.
Oh, wow.
There you go. I've actually started typing up my notes because it makes it easier for me to read it.
Hey, yeah, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all the manga anime differences.
Okay, so pretty faithful is what I'm getting out of this.
Yeah, especially that last chapter, 276 and 277 are pretty much almost frame for frame. There's a bit more Nell crying, but even some of the pictures of her peering over and saying Ichigo and everything. So yeah.
I actually found, I don't know if you watched the sub or the dub, but often I find that like kid voices in dubs can kind of annoy me because I don't know.
Yeah.
The choices are very, like, performative in a way that I don't tend to respond to often. Not all the time, but often. If you have adults voicing kids, that is. If you have kids voicing kids, it's usually a different matter, and it's usually really good. But,
Yeah.
But in the sub, anyway, normally, like, Nell with all of her crying and her sobbing and such, normally that's not something that I'm into. But there was something about, like, I don't know. My heart really went out to Nell this watch through, actually. Like, in a pretty major way. Partly because of how genuinely concerned she seemed for Ichigo during that initial confrontation with Ulquiorra. And, like, Ichigo clocked that, understood what was going on, and reassured her, like the good big brother he is. And then later when Ichigo was, like, actively not okay, and she kind of, like, she was genuinely emotionally distraught, and I believed it, and I saw that, and I felt the gravity of the situation more because we were able to see somebody impacted.
Yeah. Because I'm the same. Like, I watch the sub, and I find some of the voices in the dub, especially Yachiro's.
Ooh, not a fan.
Yeah. Whereas she's tolerable in the
she's, like,
sub,
actually cuter, I find, Yachiru.
Yeah. I haven't heard Nell. I don't think I've ever heard Nell's dub voice.
Oh,
and it's not
fine.
something that I probably want to go find.
Yeah,
but
nah.
Yeah, I did feel a little bit emotional, and she was. It did. I mean, the anime did have it go on for a little bit longer than the manga.
Sure.
And at that point, I was like, okay, this is too long, because at the start it was really cute, and I was like, oh, bless her.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, should we get the small points out the way first?
Sure.
For example, we got names.
We absolutely did. Oh,
we did.
Oh,
like,
so
I
exciting.
have. I'm not, like, I've never really connected to Espada, and I've not really had, like,
oh my gosh, welcome
that
to
many.
the club.
Right? But I've always had two favorites, and those favorites have always been Stark and Halabau. And now that we have names, I can now say Stark and Halabau, and people know who I'm talking about. They've always been they've been my top two. And Lilynette. Lilynette's adorable. So yeah, it was just nice to, because we'd seen Halabau previously, because she's the one who stood out around the table, and we'd had that conversation with regards to her differences between manga and anime.
Yep.
With regards to
it's like character
the
design,
color of her
right?
skin.
Yeah,
Character design. That's it. So, and of course, she stood up being the only female presenting anchor at Espada at the table.
Yeah.
But then we've also got this Stark, who he probably didn't have such a big role sitting around that table, but we've met him, and we've met this little kid, Lilynette, as well. And we met others as well. They all had speaking roles, but we didn't really get their names.
Yeah, very brief. Yeah, and a couple we still don't have names for. Yeah, or is it just the one guy? I feel like most other. No, we've got two. There's the older guy, and then that larger black guy. And other than that, I think we've got everybody at this point.
I think so. I'm counting on my fingers.
I'm just going through the numbers in my head, some of which are secret, listeners. Stay tuned to find out who's really strong.
Right? Yeah, because we know Ulquiorra is number 4, so, there's...
And we know Szayel is number 8, and we know Arrancars was number 9. Those are the ones we have confirmed, and I think that's it right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we know Yami's?
I don't think so. Do we? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
And I was trying to think whether we knew Noe Torres, and I don't think we do.
No.
Oh, Grimmjow we do, right?
Grimmjow's we know,
because Loopy replaced him briefly. R.I.P. Loopy.
Yeah.
Miss you forever, bro.
And Orihime heals back as 6, so yeah, we definitely know Grimmjow's.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so, we're slowly piecing together the pecking order of these, and they're all super strong, because, like, okay, I have a thing I want to talk about, which is, so Ulquiorra's, like, he doesn't really wear his thoughts and feelings on his sleeve. He kind of maintains the same facial expression all the time. Ichigo was determined to continue fighting him when he was like, oh, you're clearly the leader of the Espada, so you're definitely the strongest. This dramatic prince, like, grabbed the sword and had to, like, rip his shirt open to be like, no, here is my chest tattoo. I'm only number 4, as the tatters of his shirt flap in the breeze.
He had his... Yeah.
So, like, what is that? Like, where does that come from? It's a different side of him. We haven't seen a side of him like that before. And we also haven't seen a side of him which is like the part of him that feels, for whatever reason, the need to punch... Grimmjow used the word prey. I'm sure Ulquiorra wouldn't. But, like, to punch adversaries that he cares about, like, to punch a hole into the same place Ulquiorra has his hole. So he's got a flair for something extra, something dramatic. So in the same way that Grimmjow punching through a wall instead of using a door tells us something about what he's like what do these little flashes of personal flair tell us about Ulquiorra? I don't have an answer. That's a truly open-ended question, but...
It's like... But is this the first time we've seen him where he's not been with somebody else?
Ooh.
He's been with... when he was in the world of the living, he was with Yami.
Yeah.
So maybe he's got that little bit of vulnerability that he doesn't want to show this side to other people, like he's hiding something.
He has been with just Orihime in the past as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just briefly, I think.
Yeah. But I think with Orihime it might be different. He's not wanting to show off to Orihime.
Mm-hmm. And he knows that he has to kind of maintain Orihime because she's fundamental to whatever Aizen's plan is. Mm-hmm. You know, there are probably rules in place around what he can and can't do. And he does mostly strike me as a rule follower. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
He's the Ishida of the group. He's the rule follower.
Yeah, Ulquiorra and Szayel together make Ishida. It's well, sort of, I don't know. They're just all of these, like, clean line pretty boys with various flares for the dramatic. Like, Uryuu is sometimes, like, serious in that way, but occasionally he's like, no, I need to have my personal flair, and that's very Szayel. Not that you can draw a direct line between any of these characters exactly. Like, the parallels aren't exactly perfect, nor should they be, but yeah. Did you have any additional thoughts about... So now that we're talking about Ulquiorra, I think maybe let's follow the line of, like, that whole confrontation. So Ichigo going Bankai, wearing that hollow mask, trying to get to Gatensho Ulquiorra's skinny ass, and then getting his ass handed to him on the back end of that. Any takes about that whole encounter?
It was very presumptuous of Ichigo to think that, you know, Ulquiorra had survived that attack. And
oh, sure. Yeah.
Because, of course, you know, he just goes in, he attacks him once, and then he's like, okay, it's okay now, I've got you. You know, they have that sweet, heartwarming moment.
Yes.
And he doesn't think anything. And he's also not sensing him. You'd think... Yeah, okay, we know Ichigo's not got the best sensing. He's got selective censoring, I think, is the best with the best thing to do. But even when someone as powerful as Ulquiorra is right next to him, surely he might still have sensed his spiritual pressure not diminish.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it was just, he just very presumptuously was just like, yep. All done. That's all it took.
Yeah,
5 seconds.
Odd.
Bada bing, bada boom.
It's not like he was just trying to get away or anything either. Like, he was actively interested in defeating Ulquiorra, and we know that. He says so.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. But yeah, other than that, it's just, it was a very clean fight. Like, It wasn't a clean fight, but it was very clean cut, and there was...
Yes. Yes to both.
But also, Wait, the fact that Ichigo practically died.
Right?
And I don't know, it was maybe because I've seen it before and I knew what was going to happen, but it would have been interesting to see someone's perspective who maybe went into this episode without knowing what had happened and wondering if actually Ichigo was dead in that instance.
Right. Right. Yeah. Especially, too, because it would have been... I mean, I know that Chad's situation was sort of ambiguous. Like, we don't actually really know whether Chad is, like, dead or whether he's just kind of down for the count right now. But if, in fact, Ichigo were dead, it would be the first time, I think, that we would see the death of, like, a non-soul and non-hollow character, of, like, a human character.
Yeah, and... Yeah, although you must admit how his Bankai disappeared when he died and went back to Shikai, and the whole effect.
Oh
and
my god!
That was amazing.
That was stunning. Yeah,
and
I
love that.
Because I also, the way, I feel like that is literally what happened as well. Like, I obviously the construction of Las Noches is... I think a lot is allowed to be left to the imagination there, but I feel like... So coming back around to the possibility of Ulquiorra just being, like, extra on main in the most low-key way possible, him being like, no, I'm going to orchestrate it so that this confrontation happens right underneath where Orihime is being kept or something, so that when she feels Ichigo's energy change, it's right there and it's immediate. If he's trying to, like, I don't know, break her down and continue to get her to submit, like, oof.
Yeah. Although, speaking of Chad, Orihime's crying when she feels Ichigo's death. She's like, first Rukia, then Ichigo. And it's like, did you forget about Chad?
Oh, no! Well, no, but she was really adamant a couple episodes ago that Chad wasn't dead. Like, she put her foot down. So maybe, I betcha, I feel like Orihime actually believes Chad isn't dead.
Yeah.
So, maybe she didn't forget. Maybe she just thinks Chad's alive. But also, maybe Kubo forgot. I don't know.
Maybe
Chad draws the short straw kind of often, I think.
Oh, bless poor Chad. Don't forget Chad.
No, we can't forget Chad. He's so good. Ugh. I had one other sort of, just a thing that I kind of hadn't noticed before. So, like, we know that the way that Ichigo's, certainly his Zanpakuto, but also some of the manifestations of his powers, they kind of look different depending on the form he takes and how he grows and what he chooses to use. So there was a bit in that initial confrontation with Ulquiorra. He was in Bankai and he had his mask on, and some of that black and red energy that was swirling around looked like it didn't not look like a 5-pointed star. A little, I sort of thought. And so it goes to show that, like, this is consistently and constantly in evolution, and so just, like, I don't know, like, Ichigo's power scaling has been so, like, internally driven, so now, like, I know that there are some people that love to pay really close attention to the way Ichigo's powers change and the way that those manifestations change, and I've said this before, Ichigo has never been the reason why I watch Bleach. He's, like, not really one of my favorite characters, but now I'm tracking for myself as much as I possibly can when those changes start to happen. So I don't know, I guess, like, if I can remember to, I'd like to put little pins in things that I notice about the way his powers look and seem and feel as we go along. So that was just a really distinct thing that I certainly hadn't noticed before watching this time around. And so yeah, just curious.
Yeah. No, that was cool. Yeah.
I don't really have too much more about that fight, TBH, other than the fact that, like, we now get to see concretely how really fucking powerful Ulquiorra is. He fully stops that attack with his bare hands. Like, that's wild.
He does. And, I mean, the whole looking cool with his hand in his pocket, he did have to go to two hands.
He did.
He did actually have to take his hand out of his pocket, so whatever he was doing with his hand in his pocket, he actually had to give it up.
Yeah.
Playing with a fidget toy. That's what it was.
He's in acting school, and his acting teacher said, make a different choice. You can't keep your hands in your pockets.
But yeah, he's pretty powerful.
He's pretty powerful. And I'm so curious to see or like rewatch again like the rest of everything that is going to come on the heels of his most recent appearance behind Grimmjow. Like, oof, buddy. I
mean, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. What did I call it? Grimmjow and Ulquiorra duking it out to see who will take Ichigo out on a date.
It is very that, though. Like, they're fully fighting over Ichigo. That is literally what is happening. They're fighting over Ichigo. Fighting over Ichigo?
What? Fighting over, yeah. Why can't they just do rock, paper, scissors? Yeah, you know. This is rock, paper, scissors Arrancar version.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the way that I'm thinking about these episodes kind of structurally, so I think we've got the Ichigo Ulquiorra confrontation situation. We've got Orihime's whole journey, and then we've got Szayel and Renji and Uryuu. And those are kind of like the three main lines that we're following here. So
yeah,
I imagine that there's going to be more to say about Szayel, Renji, and Uryuu than there is about Orihime and what she's dealing with. So maybe we should actually start with the Hime stuff, and then kind of round it out with two of my boys. TBH, whatever.
Two of your boys.
Someone wrote this fight for me. Someone wrote this fight for me in a major way. I say someone. It was Kubo. Kubo wrote the whole thing. What am I talking about? So, yeah. So also knowing that a lot of the Orihime stuff was anime only. I don't know. I found myself curious about motivations on the part of Loly and Menoly, but it seems to me there wasn't really anything in the manga, was there, about them saying, oh, hey, Aizen must like you a lot, or like you think you're so special, or like I don't know how jealous they seemed in the manga, I guess, but in the anime the question I found myself asking, like especially like Orihime's room is so bare. It's like basic amenities, and so if they're looking around and going, oh wow, this is so nice, like sure, they might just be used to just sand before there even was a Las Noches. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, oh my god, what kind of absolutely terrible treatment are y'all used to that this seems amazing? Like,
well, yeah, but then you look at Stark, and Stark had a beanbag, so
yeah, no, the bar is on the floor for amenities in this place.
Yeah, I'm looking. Oh, there we go. I found it.
Yeah. Like, hollows are used to a hard fucking life, is what I think this is revealing, kinda.
Nope, not that one. I am looking for... There it is. It's... Grimmjow comes in. Grimmjow blasts Menoly.
Yeah.
And Lolly's like, you realize Lord Aizen will get you for this. You're just there, and then that's when he picks up her leg and literally rips her legs out.
Wow.
But that's when Lolly's like, wait, no, please, I won't tell anyone. Ooh. But after he's done it, she's like, you're dead. I hope Lord Aizen kills.
Whoa. And then okay.
So they are aware of Lord Aizen, but then they definitely seemed more jealousy that Orihime was Aizen's new favorite toy in the anime than they were in the manga. Okay. You don't really get that across in the manga.
Gotcha. So then the question of motivation becomes an even bigger question, actually. Like, what are you doing? Oh.
Because
Because they're just like, they are very, very unkind to her. And poor Orihime. She
They
didn't
really
do
are.
anything to deserve that. She's literally just trying to live.
Yeah, because they're just standing there, aren't they? They're just staring at her from the door.
It's weird. It's super weird. And it's not
Maybe
like
we'll
she
find out.
waltzed. Yeah, I guess so. Because it's not like Orihime waltzed in here and was like, I am special, I am powerful. Like, so far, in Hueco Mundo, she's only used her powers when somebody makes her, pretty much. She's not trying to be this savior or icon or she's not. That's not what she's doing. It's wild.
Yeah. And because the only time she used her powers of her own free will is to heal the people who tormented her.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Grimmjow's telling her to fix her own face, but instead of fixing her own face, she goes and heals them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have no idea what their motivation is.
Yeah. Yes. Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm earnestly asking anything else you want to say about anything other than the fight that I'm very excited for, because obviously I'm very excited, but I want to make sure we've touched on everything else that we feel is important.
What was your take on Orihime saying the massive spiritual pressure around Ichigo's wounds that she can't reject?
Ooh, I think it could be one of two things. Either, so the way I'm thinking about it is either that is coming from, no matter what, we know that that's to do with the interaction of Ulquiorra's powers and Ichigo's body and makeup, whether that's physical or spiritual. So the two thoughts that I have are either Ulquiorra's power interacts with either bodies in general or Ichigo's body in a way that lingers and clings, and that's just part of what Ulquiorra does. Or there is something about Ichigo that can't let either Ulquiorra's power or similar powers just go like that. There is resistance, and it's a question of where that resistance is coming from. The Ichigo's body, as it is, doesn't want that rejection process to take hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe as well because he is part hollow basically, and he's now in the world of the hollows.
Yeah.
That he's maybe drawing some of that, the outside spiritual hollow pressure, similar to how Chad was saying that he got stronger the minute he stepped into
exactly. Is there part of Ichigo that now actually feels right with a bit of a hollow hole or with hollow energy infused into his body somehow? Yeah, exactly.
There's a part of Ichigo that's home.
Yeah, very that.
And it's resonating with that, yeah.
Yep. And it could be both, right? Maybe Ulquiorra's attacks uniquely enabled Ichigo's body to demonstrate that, because maybe there is something persistent in that way about Ulquiorra's powers. I don't know that we've seen a green Sero up to now either. I can't recall. I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, normally they're red, aren't they? Yeah.
Often they're red. Yeah, they could be a bunch of different colors. Saruchi's wasn't red, I don't think.
No, but Shinji's was red, wasn't it?
Shinji's is red. Yep.
Yeah.
Other information that just lives rent free in my brain. Who cares?
Right?
Yeah. How about you? Did you have any additional thoughts on that particular question?
No, it was just
great.
Yeah, just that.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
You waited long enough.
Thank you. I'm proud of myself.
You've been very patient.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Oh, where to start? I think. I don't know. Once again, it's going to be I feel like everything that I'm excited for is just well, I really like this character, and that's why I really like this fight. It's not even spicy. You know what? as a jumping off point, I imagine you probably have more focused thoughts and commentary than I do. I'm scrolling through and I do have a couple of like specifically salient points here. Most of them are actually from the latter half of the fight rather than the former half, kind of once Uryuu gets involved, because I think we largely get to learn. We learn a lot about Szayel in like a very first impression kind of way when Renji is fighting him. Like, for example, the fact that he says, oh, like, it's a bummer that I'm not going to be able to collect your body in its pristine form after I let my big fraction kick your ass. Like, bummer. That's revealing about Szayel's character, but it's also not shocking. Like, we know he's a researcher and we know he's like not particularly stable. Yeah, considering, I think the thing that I'm most interested in talking about is from the latter half of the fight. What did you think about this, I suppose, series of confrontations, either before Uryuu gets involved or after?
Yeah, I was picking up a lot of different details that we were getting.
Okay.
We got the reveal that Szayel and Ilfo are brothers, and that raises the questions of espadas can have siblings, and these seem to be like actual kin siblings because they don't like each other. So
and they have the same surname.
Be...
They actually have the... Oh, I guess Sane and Kiyone have the same surname, but they're also not hollows. Anyway.
Yeah. So, they're not going to be found family because, we got the impression that they didn't really like each other that very much. So they were actually, related. Right. Blood related or whatever it is. So it's interesting to see that kind of dynamic. Yeah. And I mean, you totally called it that he planted a bug in.
Yeah. I think I completely forgot that. But I also, like, we know that he does surveillance stuff. Like, that's super, super clear. So, yeah.
Yeah. We got a nice little interesting tidbit that the Espada have different abilities. So Aranero's ability was Ninshiki Doki, which is synchronized awareness. So he could relay what was happening to all of the other Espada around him.
Yep.
So that Aranero having that kind of ability, and we've kind of almost seen a little bit of what Ulquiorra's ability could have been with his old eyeball recording software. True. So it makes you wonder what other awarenesses or kind of specialities that each Espada have. So different abilities in the Espadas, if we're going to get those reveals.
Right.
Would kind of make it a little bit different there. Maybe it'll allow us to see why they were chosen to be these top espadas.
That's true. Because even so, that's an interesting thought as well. Because so Szayel says something when he's talking about his whole legion of fracciones. He has so many, and he's like, he says the way that he talks about them is unusual because he's like, I made them. So. It's further insight into just how many different, I guess, levels of Hollow and indeed even of Arrancar you can have. So all of the Espada that we've met, with the exception, I think, of Arrancars, seem to be they're quite humanoid in appearance. They have nuance to their speech. They have complicated thoughts. Other than Ulquiorra, they seem to have, like... Well, honestly, including Ulquiorra, he just shows it differently. Like, they have emotional reactions to things that then lead to thought-through action. And so, yeah, it's... We know that there can be a considerable amount of evolution as an Arrancar, but like how much more evolved is even someone like, the violent punching walls force that is Grimmjow than someone like Saruchi or like Gantenbein or whoever you like. Yeah, like where does the evolution stop, if anywhere,
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to continue watching and just like trying to see if we can pick out if they have something or if it's just, a one-off because, we already know Aranero is unique in the fact that he's the only Gillian, I think was what. Yep. He is the only Gillian in the team. in the team. So he's already unique in that sense that he's there because of his absorption powers, basically.
Ugh, yeah, God. Yeah, sorry, I just thought about the butthole again. It just looks like a butthole. Yeah. I thought it was cool to see Renji fighting someone who is actively one of those, like, oh, I see your moves and I one-up you kind of people, because Renji is usually really successful and just, well, rephrase, Renji is never successful when it comes to fights. But Renji, you get the sense, probably does best when he can just kind of, like, smash away at things. Like, there's a reason he has a power type Zanpakuto, right? Like, that suits him. So initially, and like, it's not surprising that it was always going to be, like, Megane-kun versus Megane-kun when this was all said and done. Like, Uryuu versus Szayel just makes sense because they're, like, clean, skinny, analytical boys, and, like, that's just where we are. And putting those two, like, Kubo really likes to put people opposite each other for fights who are, like, well suited to be fighting each other because it's really fun to watch. So Renji versus Szayel is an unusual pairing to see in Bleach. So even though it was brief, I thought it was cool to have Renji face off against someone who is a calculating fighter and who isn't a power type fighter at all, and to see how Renji contends with that. Now, of course, Renji's solution for the most part was just to keep smashing things, and that, like, did not work very well. And it's true that Szayel had spent enough time observing and collecting data that he was able to counter Renji's power smashy moves pretty effectively, just get out of the way. And he also just, like, kind of didn't give a fuck and thought Renji was small potatoes, which, like, fair. Yeah.
But Renji Smash, I think, was the
Renji Smash.
Renji Smash.
Very that.
Although, when Ishida came in, though, I did like the fact that that was technically the first time Renji and Ishida were in the same room together alone, since Renji almost killed Ishida back in the first season.
Whoa! You're so right! Oh, cool!
And now they're trusting each other and fighting with each other. It's Ishida forgave him for almost killing him.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, when the circumstances are dire and they both want to save Orihime, then shit, I guess it's like, yeah, put aside past differences, I guess. Wow. Good call. Ah, man. I suppose, yeah, so, like, part of what another thing that I like about this fight is, in fact, like, that cool teamwork journey that they share, because Uryuu and Renji, because my initial thought was like, oh, they haven't talked much. Yeah, no, that's putting it super mildly. So to see Uryuu think on his feet like that, and then to see Renji, like, read the room and use his instincts quickly enough to understand what Uryuu needs and be able to execute it successfully, it was a cool moment of growth for both of them. And it's neat that, like, Ishida keeps showing us little bit by little bit cool, new, isolated Quincy abilities as we move through some of these fights. Like, it seems to me that Kubo has a lot of fun putting together, like, different cool reishi manipulation shit for Quincy's to do when they serve the moment. Like, I feel like he did that in the Mayuri fight, and I feel like he's doing that here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got, what is it, Zai-Chen, which is the symbol, the Quincy symbol that was drawn on the floor.
Yeah.
Along with the Sprengen, which was the blast.
Yep.
So yeah,
and
we're
it's
getting...
just fun.
Yeah, we're definitely getting these. Although, Ishida, we know he's very showy, but when he first arrives, Renji technically wasn't in any immediate danger, so Ishida could have just attacked Szayel instead of attacking the Arrancar.
Oh, yeah, I suppose he could have. Yeah, you're right. Well,
element of surprise and all that.
Like, of course he fucking wants to look cool, which, okay, speaking of, like, taking pride in one's appearance and wanting to look cool, I So the thing that I always remember about the way that Szayel leaves the space after he's been blasted by the Sprenger technique, I always remember him saying that he wants to go and, like, change his clothes. And of course I remember, like, and also I'm like, oh yes, you get a little shirtless moment. So, like, that's gonna fucking stick out of my mind because I love pretty boys. But the thing, it never really landed for me until this watch through. And this is an episode I've seen a few times now. When he's explaining what he's doing to Uryuu, he's like, I need to go and change my clothes. This is something I know that you are going to understand and respect. Think about it. I am giving you time. Think about what you're gonna do, and I'm gonna come back and face you later. Because he is an intellectual person first and foremost, and he actually wants the challenge of facing a smart person like Uryuu when Uryuu has had time to put the best plan possible together. Like, that is what Szayel wants. Yeah, I guess on the surface he's going to change his clothes, and that probably is important to him, but he wants that stimulating intellectual challenge.
So he's not just going to go back to his quarters and watch what they do on a TV screen?
I don't think so. I don't imagine so. No. I mean, maybe, but if, like, not with the intention of, like, I feel like he wants to, it's in the same way almost that Chad was like, hey, Gantenbein, you fought me at full strength so I could realize my full potential. If Szayel is in fact a researcher and an academic, he's probably interested, like, in addition to just being genuinely interested in fighting someone smart, because by now he'll know that Uryuu is smart, if he's interested in his own, like, personal development as a fighter and as an academic, he's trying to get something out of this and have fun along the way. Mm-hmm. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely... Szayel's probably been, you know, just bumbling around, doing what he wants, and finally he's found someone who he can intellectually match with.
Yeah.
And kind of get that challenge, whereas he's not really had that challenge. They've not had a chance to do anything since they've been created or since they've evolved or however they came. Aizen's made this promise to them, and now they're finally getting to fight back.
Yeah.
Do something. Act on that promise.
Right.
Yeah.
Wild.
We had a end of a volume.
So, fabulous. The end of the Cayenne volume.
Yes. So do you want to guess who's on this cover?
Oh, fuck's sake. Okay, can you tell me whether they're Shinigami or something else?
It's something else.
Okay, is it a hollow?
Yeah, technically, yes.
Okay, well, so Arrancars are hollows, so.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Is it Ulquiorra?
Nope.
Oh, is it Grimmjow?
No.
Oh, for God's sake. Is it Szayel?
It's Szayel.
I know he gets one, but I guess this one would be the one, wouldn't it? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, shit. If I'm not looking this up. If I'm not mistaken, is that the image where he's, like, got his head back and he's got his hand up next to his neck and he's, like, smirking all sly at the camera, I guess? Is that the image?
He looks like he's straight out of Haikyuu and he's doing a volleyball kind of pose.
Oh my God. Wait, what volume number is this?
31. He's got his arm back and his other arm stretched up, and he literally looks like he's about to play volleyball.
Okay, nope, I was thinking of, there's like a full panel page where he's making the gesture and expression that I was referencing before. Okay, whatever. Oh, look at him. Well, hooray.
Yep.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So this is volume 31, Don't Kill My Volupture.
Wow, what you...
And the poem is, Tell me you hate me more than anything in the world.
Oh. Ouch. Well, it's that whole thing of, like, you don't hate people that you don't care about. If you hate somebody, then there's an emotion attached. It's hate and indifference are a different kind of... Well, anyway. Oh, man. Great. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see where that goes, because Szayel promised us that was not over, so... put on your thinking cap, Uryuu.
Yeah.
And Renji, I guess if Renji wants to help, he's allowed.
Renji smash.
Renji's just gonna do keto the whole time. What could go wrong?
He's done it now. He can prove he can do it.
I know. Good for him being like, I'm gonna capitalize on this thing that I'm actively bad at, and yeah, no, it was clever. Oh,
it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Wow. I guess that that brings us to our Shinigami Cup, doesn't it? Peroxide
it
edition.
Does.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh geez. Oh boy. Okay. There were a lot of shirtless people in these 2 episodes, so I was trying to somehow work that into who wore it best, who didn't wear it best. Anyway, who wore it best this week, Nomi?
So I originally had Ichigo and his death look.
Oh, sure. Wide open eyes.
I was gonna go there,
Beautiful.
but for people who like Ichigo, maybe I won't be that mean and say the Omakis at the end.
Oh, I think you took mine! I bet you took mine!
No! With, like, Ukitake being pinned to a tree and his just look
How
of
could I choose anything else, Nomi?
face.
Come on!
I thought you were going to choose Naked Zyle.
Oh, alright. Well, sorry, carry on.
So, anyway, but, yeah.
All right. Well, who wore it best? Who wore it best this week for me? Naked Zyle and no one else. That's all. No, dude, watch this sequence of Omake is so great. Like, if you are a listener who is not in the habit of watching those after credit scenes, like, literally, if you never watch any other ones, please God, watch these. They're incredible. They're so.
They
good.
are. And they're from the bootleg manga, which is where they were inspired from.
I love the bootleg so much.
And there's actually a scene in the bootleg that's not in these Omakis, and it's between Yoruichi and Ukitake. So Yoruichi passes by Ukitake, who's still pinned to the tree, and Ukitake's like, oh, they're taking pictures, which is why Yoruichi knows that Soifon and Kione are going to come after her next.
Yeah. I also, from the previous episode, it's, God bless. Why did they choose to put Nemu and Desane together? Like, what did they think was gonna happen? They never had a chance. They really didn't.
They did not.
Anyway, watch the Amake. They're amazing.
They really are.
Best ship this week, Nomi.
So mine is the friendship between Ishida and Renji, having come so long before, they were killing each other, and now they're trusting each other. So,
oh, hell yes.
That's true enemies to friendships right there.
Oh. Mine is the utterly iconic ship between Zyle and Renji, who were locked together in a Zabimaru death grip of love ever so briefly.
Love it.
Yeah. Alright, fandom shoutouts this week.
Okay, my fandom shoutout is... Today is February... I was about to say February 4th, but it's after midnight. It's February 3rd that we are recording this. So... Exactly. And it is my queen, Lisa Yaramoa's birthday.
Yay!
Yay! So, of course, my Twitter feed has just been filled with Lisa pictures. And warning, it is spoiler for the end. And unfortunately, I could not find a non-spoiler one for the end of the manga.
Fair enough.
Yep. But here is Lisa looking amazing in this outfit.
Oh, she's so... Oh, that's... Yeah, I love the styling on that. Oh, very cool.
And this is by Spinosaur1111 on Twitter. And I just love the blue, the pop of the blue of what she's wearing with the little ribbon in her hair as well.
Yeah.
Fitting tribute for her birthday.
Yeah, she's got on a really cool skirt. I'm a big fan of this. Mine this week is a piece of Renji, a piece of art of Renji by the artist Neon Nikos on Tumblr. It was the Lunar New Year just last night, I think. Was it last night? No. Oh, excuse me. It was the Lunar New Year on the 1st of February, and as Nomi said, we're recording this on the 3rd, so this is Renji, but, like, styled like a tiger, kind of, because it's the year of the tiger. He's got, like, this dope industrial piercing, He's got on a robe that is like tiger print, and he just kind of looks like a badass. This artist has drawn Renji a couple of different times, and I feel like they really captured like the punk ass essence of Renji really successfully. And I also want to like take this opportunity to wish anybody who observes and celebrates a happy Lunar New Year. Welcome to the Year of the Tiger. I hope you had a nice Lunar New Year. So yeah,
there we go. I love it. I love how it's very similar to his tattoos as well.
Yep. It suits him, actually, doesn't it? Like, even though we know that Renji is, like, usually connected to dog imagery, here's another one, just so you can see, like, interpretations. But, yeah, Renji styled like a tiger is unexpected, but neat. So, there you go.
I'm loving him with the facial hair.
I know, isn't he sexy? Look at that.
Right?
I know, like I'm accidentally becoming more of a Renji stan as I'm going through this. Like, yeah, right?
That's so cool.
I always liked him, but occasionally I get little bursts of like. Also, Bia-Ren was like my first bleached ship ever, so there is a soft spot, soft spot in my heart for both of them. Well, any closing thoughts, Nomi?
No, I am all good.
All right.
Everything's been highlighted off, so that's good.
Beautiful. Good. Cool. Well then, you wonderful souls. That is the end of another episode. If you like what you heard and you want to get involved, you can find us by searching for The Seirete on Instagram and T Seirete on Twitter. Now, Ichigo and Rukia might reap souls, but we are hoping to reap some 5-star reviews. Kind of like the Springer technique, also kind of not. Anyway, that's where you come in. Make like our favorite orange-haired protector and Ichi go to iTunes to rate us and review us and make us feel like #1. And to those of you listening on YouTube, don't forget to be like Chad and give us that good thumbs up. We really appreciate it. On the next episode of the podcast, we'll be covering anime episodes 165, Murderous Intent, The Joyful Grimmjow, 166, Desperate Effort versus Desperate Effort, The Hollified Ichigo, and 167, The Moment of Conclusion, The End of Grimmjow. We'll see you souls then. Till next time, bye! Bye!